So this is going to be a quick overview of my quote-unquote barn find, or maybe garage find if you want to call it, RX-7. So this is a 1993 Mazda RX-7, obviously black, tan interior, manual. And basically it's been sitting for about 6 years as far as I can tell. Kind of a stereotypical story. An old couple bought it brand new in 1993, owned it until about 2016 when the husband passed away and sold it to another guy local in town. And it's been sitting in his garage probably about since 2016 or maybe early 2017. And recently the garage had some damage from a storm and kind of prompted him to sell it because he didn't want it to, get damaged while they were fixing the garage. So the car has about 70,000 miles, and underneath all the dust and grime and mold, the car is almost in mint condition. I do have some pictures from about 2013, which I'll probably throw up on the screen, and you could probably tell that the paint is pretty immaculate. The guy took really good care of his cars. And unfortunately, after he passed away and the previous guy bought it, he did come across quite a few issues that needed fixed on the car and got in there and kind of lost interest in the project. So I'm going to put some photos up on the screen of sort of the condition that I got it in his garage. I didn't take any videos because the guy is super cool and I just don't want any, no hard feelings or, backlash sent his way just because the car was neglected pretty bad. So the biggest issue with the car is the transmission. Fifth gear does not engage at all. Whether it's a synchro or a shift forward or the actual gear is damaged, I'm not exactly sure. Obviously, I haven't driven the car. So he pulled the engine and transmission to try to figure that out and basically lost interest. And life gets in the way and other stuff happens. And once again, no hard feelings to that guy. Super cool dude, just didn't have the time and money to finish it. The engine is also over there on the stand, so it's out of it. So at the same time, we're going to go through that, make sure it's all good, see if we need to rebuild it. It has been oiled down. There's oil in the combustion chambers, so hopefully we don't have any stuck seals or anything along those lines, but we're definitely going to have to look into that. So like I said, 93 Touring, black tan interior, manual, about 70,000 original miles. I don't know the exact mileage because the cluster is not in there. He had started sort of doing I'll call it a restoration, fixing up a lot of the plastics. The plastic in this car does scratch pretty easy, and it kind of has like a rubber coating that wears off. So even though the interior is kind of torn apart, underneath all of that stuff, the interior is basically in mint condition. I don't think there was ever a passenger that rode in it. And I honestly don't know if this car ever left the town. So I'm the third owner, also once again in the same city. And I really don't think that this car has ever ventured outside the city. So the car is obviously extremely dirty. So I think what I'm going to do is take a couple videos of me cleaning it up and sort of talk about what I want to do with it. The primary goal is just to make a nice driver. Like I said, I think the next clips, we're going to clean it up a bit and see what it looks like underneath all the dust and go from there. So another quick update. Just gave the car a quick wash. No touch, just power wash and the foam cannon. And so far, I think the paint's going to be pretty nice underneath. I think the next step is, do a hand wash, and couple scratches and dings did come up during the wash. There's a pretty good scratch right here on the bumper. Can't tell if that's a scratch or if something is marred. Not sure if that's actual paint or clear coat or if that's just something deposited on there. But so far it looks like the paint's going to be pretty nice once it gets all cleaned up. So that's it for today. Power washer was a bit loud and it's kind of late, so I don't want to piss off the neighbors, but yeah, first wash turned out pretty good. The wheels are pretty much mint, which is pretty cool. So another quick update on the FD. This is probably going to be the last clip before I post up sort of this part 1, which is initial inspection, cleaning it up, sort of overall thoughts. And then if I continue to make videos, I think I'll next maybe talk about what I want to do with it. But we did a little bit more aggressive wash now, foam cannon, pressure washer, and then just a wash mitt. Cleaned up pretty good. There is some swirls in the paint, which have probably been there, for a long time. There are a couple scuffs here and there. If you see right there on the front bumper, there's a pretty deep scratch. Something looks like it fell on it while it was probably parked. Otherwise, wheels cleaned up, pretty nice. The paint overall is in pretty good condition. Obviously, the plastic at the back you can see is faded a little bit, which is pretty normal. Interior-wise, nothing has changed much. It's still kind of torn apart, but we did give it a little bit of a wipe down. And compared to some of the other seats and interior I've seen in some of these cars, this thing is in pretty decent condition. The carpet is a little bit dirty. I'm going to take those out and shampoo them probably, but the leather is in pretty good shape. This bolster here does have a little bit of wear and a little bit of cracking, but not too bad. There are a couple spots here and there. I'm not exactly sure what got on the seat. It looks like it's kind of bleached or discolored the leather a little bit, but overall, not too bad. The transmission issue, which I talked about, since fifth gear, synchro grinding is pretty common. I've gone ahead and ordered a new synchro, which is pretty common to break in half, it looks like, and then they call it like the paddle or the detent for fifth gear. I've ordered one of those, so we'll tear into this and try to rebuild it. If not, we'll probably just order a low mileage JDM trans. Then we looked a little bit into the engine, and it's pretty much untouched. It was taped up pretty well, and it's pretty well sealed. There doesn't appear to be any really signs of rust or anything getting in. I did pull out the spark plugs and looked in there with just a bore scope, and as far as I can tell, there's nothing too crazy going on, but we're going to obviously dig into it a bit and see if we need to tear it down or, put some oil in there and see if we can spin it over. But definitely going to need to do a little bit more investigation in the engine before we do too much more. So that's probably going to be the end of this video, just a quick update. The paint does look pretty good. Like I said, there are some scratches and scuffs, but overall it does look like it's a pretty pristine car underneath all the dirt and grime. I think with a good polish and a good cut and buff, it's going to look really nice. And we'll probably end up repainting the front bumper, and that scratch is pretty deep. It does go all the way into the plastic, so I think that'll probably do it for the first video. I think the next one, like I said, we're going to talk about what we're going to do. I've got some of the old parts thrown up for sale, and I'm probably going to order some exhaust stuff and a bunch of gaskets and get going on it, and hopefully get it back together and driving as soon as possible.